It's very appropriate considering we've got an all-Brazilian front row. FIA karting president, Felipe Massa, you just wanted to get a better view of the Brazilians, didn't you? You just wanted a good run from them.
Yeah, actually, I mean, it's fantastic to be here, to watching these races in this amazing track. It's really nice, actually. You know, when it's the first time I look this track, it's just a nice track to drive. I think it's pretty fun, you know, layout. And I just came here to say hello to you guys, and I see that is a front row Brazilian.
The irony of it, isn't it?
I'm sure it will be quite a nice race to watch as well. And people is really having a lot of fun watching from home. From here also, it's great to have some people watching. I think this is fantastic. We cannot forget what's happened last race of Formula One in the Austin. 400,000 people watching the race.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is what we want, you know. This is what we want. I mean, the people getting back to watch the sport, to watch races, karting, and I'm sure we're gonna have we are having already amazing races to watch here in Campillos.
Now, you've been here since Thursday evening, and you've obviously been looking around the paddock. It's a brand new circuit for the FIA karting. It's a last-minute decision, obviously, and the team has had to make a 4-week turnaround to be ready for the World Championship. I mean, looking at the sort of the feedback that you've had from the teams and the drivers and the officials working around the circuit, I mean, just how big a task have these guys actually pulled off to run a World Championship here?
Well, first of all, it's like unfortunately and fortunately, because unfortunately means we cannot forget. I mean, we were trying to do this World Championship in Brazil, you know, in the last 2 years. You know, unfortunately, the pandemic didn't help in the right way. This is clear. But fortunately, we find a very nice track, a very nice place to do the race, which is here in Campillos. I'm sure it's the first of many race from FIA, because it's definitely a great place and a great circuit for karting, you know. And I think definitely this is very important to me, to remember that we always trying, you know, to have the right places, to have the right races, and also to have a place that we can have the most incredible fight as possible from the karting stars, you know, that we have here.
Now, we have to talk about this a tiny bit. There's been a bit of a sort of a vocal difficulty with the World Championship, but we have to look at this from a contextual point of view. Obviously, we needed to give some clear answers as to why we couldn't run in Brazil, but I think a lot of people have not quite been able to understand that it's not just 1 or 2 countries that were trying to bring drivers to Brazil. There were multiple logistical challenges. It wasn't just 1 or 2 countries that were sending people to Brazil. It was multiple. I mean, we have 44 countries here represented. And this is not just, you know, this is not a loose decision that was taken by the FIA. They had to look at it from the point of view of how good a quality of an event could we have put on, how important it would have been to make sure that everybody had a chance to compete at the top level. It wasn't just trying to appease 1 or 2 countries.
Well, we definitely need to look global, you know, and we need to look in the most safe direction as possible, which is the way FIA works. Yeah. So if you see, I mean, the last moment, we even move to the front, you know, the last moment to decide we're going to do the race in Brazil or not. And then on the last moment, it was on that moment, all of the English people couldn't fly to Brazil. Yeah. So, and when we do all the inscription, all of the manufacturer didn't go, you know, was not inscripted, you know, to go to Brazil. So at the end, we have to take a decision. I mean, we have to take a decision thinking about the safety direction, the safety situation, even if Brazil it was improved massively, the COVID situation, and now is also open the traveling, but we have the date to decide. Yeah. And this is something that we cannot change. And I mean, we even move the date to the front. So that was unfortunately the decision to cancel the race in Brazil, but that's the way it is. Unfortunately, the pandemic changed a lot of situation in this moment, you know.
But looking at the quality of the drivers and the field that we have here, Felipe, I mean, the kart's heading out on the circuit the next heat. I mean, the quality, even in these difficult times, I mean, we have literally been able to gather and garnish, you know, drivers from all 6 continents around the globe. Yeah. It is truly an international event. Spain has been very accommodating. Campillos has been fantastic. And what a brilliant event we're now able to put on, despite the difficulties.
Yes, this is also what I was saying before. I mean, you know, unfortunately, we couldn't you know, do our program like going to Brazil, but we choose the right place. We choose a nice track, and a track that it was also kind of a new for most of the the teams and drivers. So it's also a different challenge to arrive on the track like that, and they don't know the asphalt, they don't know the track, they don't know the corners, they don't know the setup, so they need to learn straight away. And this is also an extra challenge that I love, and everybody, you know, like to see, especially when you arrive here and you see that a driver came from Brazil, bring his engine, brought in his carburetor, yep, his chassis from Brazil, and he is on pole position. So I think this is just fantastic.
Oh, it's absolutely brilliant. And I'm sure that, you know, everybody in Brazil will be watching and wanting to put on a great show with Gomez and Kamara up the front. Do you have a message for the people in Brazil? You could say it in Portuguese, you know, to say hello to everybody.
Well, first of all, the message I just say first in English is that, I mean, we try everything, you know, to go to Brazil, and don't really think that this was anything really decided. We decided in the last moment, and we try, and especially me, I try everything I could until the last moment. Bom, para todos os brasileiros que estão acompanhando aqui, primeiro vamos torcer para essa corrida maravilhosa que vai ser agora, com o Gabriel Gomes, com o Rafa Câmara em segundo. E o que eu tenho a dizer é que a gente tentou até o último momento, né? E a gente passou do momento da decisão para realmente decidir se o campeonato iria ser no Brasil ou não. Falta de vontade, falta de trabalho não foi o caso, e sim o que a gente tentou até o último momento. Mas a gente está numa boa pista e sem dúvida está sendo um campeonato mundial bem bacana e interessante para aquilo que a gente conseguiu fazer.
Obrigado, Felipe. Maybe you could stay with us for this one. It's a fascinating race we're going to have here. 10 laps around the course. Qualifying heat A versus E coming up. Gabriel Gomez and Rafael Kamara on the front row. Kucharczyk and Kuman. Stenzorn and Turney. We are green up to the first corner, and it's a good start from Gomez. He holds well as round the outside. Kamara once again utilizes his strength as he slots in a second place. He doesn't lose ground. Excellent start from Rafael Kamara. Kucharczyk running well in third position as he tucks in front of Stenzorn. So Stenzorn doing a good job in fourth position, and now he's got the hard-charging Joe Turney up into fifth position. Not a terrific start from Nicolo Kuman, who has fallen away into position, the Forza Racing driver, but Gomez and Kamara holding it. Oh, a big run wide and a big slam into the tyre barriers. Goodness me, somebody just running very wide on the exit. Now, I think that might have been Joe Turney who's gone off. Joe Turney in the Tony Kart factory machine has ploughed off the road, and it is full course caution. Not at all surprised, because the tyre barrier is absolutely destroyed. Looked to me like Turney just got one wheel off the white line on the exit of the course. He's out of the kart, he's walking away. That is phenomenally good news after such a heavy impact, but Joe Turney, devastating.
Well, I'm happy that he's fine. Actually, it was a big crash, and I just saw him walk away, this is the most important thing.
It's very, very tricky in those situations. And that's the thing, you know, we talk about these karts, you know, this is the pinnacle of the sport. These karts are so phenomenally quick, Felipe. If you get a little bit wide in that sort of situation, you've got absolutely no traction to combat you. You are just a passenger at that point.
Yeah, and it's also that track is a really, really quick corner, you know, to the right, and also you're just arriving the braking for this hairpin. And also we put all of this barrier there, which is good, you know, to stop the kart not to passing through and going to the other side, which is also the main track, you know, coming back.
Well, these are the kind of things that obviously the circuit has been working on to make sure that it's ready in terms of safety, in terms of preparation, in terms of the technical aspect. But, well, there is the proof right there that that was hard work that needed to go around. So the yellow flags are out, of course. The full course caution is there in position. Now, interestingly, Kucharczyk was able to move past Kamara before they went to yellow flags. So he is there now in second position as Kamara is actually backing up the field a little bit. I have a feeling we may be preparing to go to green flags, if not this lap, certainly the lap after, but they obviously have to reset the barriers. The marshals working very hard indeed to reset things and put the circuit back as it was. Looks like they are going to go around one more time. The slow boards are out, and obviously this is one of the most critical moments in a race when you're obviously there under yellow flags. You have to make sure that the safety of the drivers, not just the safety of the drivers, but also the officials and the marshals around the course, that has to be the priority.
That's the priority. I mean, the safety for the drivers on the track, but also the marshals to put the kart in the right place, in the right position, you know, to be safe also when the race restart. And I think that's it's quite important. You see that, I mean, even the marshal is bringing the karting away now, just not to be in any risk place when the race is restarting.
So obviously Gabriel Gomez is going to take the lead from his position. But this goes to show just how phenomenally competitive this category is with the OK. I mean, we talked about it a little before the start, Felipe, but Gabriel Gomez, this is only the second time he's ever appeared in an FIA karting weekend. Last year he did the World Championships in the pouring rain at Portimao and didn't even make the final. Here he is, having taken pole position in the senior category. He's been a multiple Sao Paulo champion, he's won South America, he won the trophy Ayrton Senna. So this kid, you know, this is even shades of when Ayrton came to Europe for the first time. He's doing a very similar job.
This is a fantastic story. You know, it's a fantastic thing that it happens, and we always love, you know, to see when a driver arrives, and he's not really the driver that everybody's looking, you know, from the manufacturer, important company, you know, that is already putting all the efforts in the driver. I think this is the restart now.
It is indeed. So here we go. Kucharchik's going to try and chop across Kamara, but Kamara's got an amazing start. Into second place he goes. Up to third comes Tarpanen. Tukka Tarpanen is really utilising this restart as well. The Finn has worked his way through into third position. Green, green, green around the circuit. And Gomez in front of Kamara and Tarpanen. Kucharchik has slipped to fourth position on the Kubica chassis. Then it extends on. And another fast Brazilian about to lose a place there, I think, to Ariel Elkin. That's Olin Gali. So Olin Gali, no, Gali has actually held on to it in the other CRG. So he remains in P6 as the field tumbles down the hill. And there's another one. Oh my goodness. Dear, oh dear, yet another incident. That just shows you how difficult it is on that far side of the course when you get a little bit wide and on the grass. And it's happened again. We go full course yellows. My goodness me, 2 incidents like that in a row. And once again, the driver gets out of the kart and is okay. My goodness, are we lucky today, as that's 2 big incidents like that in a row. That's a driver shaken and not stirred for sure. And
that was a big one, actually.
Wow. I mean, once is one thing, but twice, that's very hard to predict. And that was Luca Griggs walking away from his car. Wow, very tricky to have one incident like that is big, but 2 in consecutive starts. I mean, that's very, very rare.
Yeah, that was even a more aggressive one, you know. Now they will maybe even need more time to fix the barriers. I think it's both from Tony Kart, no?
Yes, indeed. Well, Luca Griggs is not in the factory team, but he certainly was a Tony Kart chassis. I think he's in the KSM official squad. But my goodness, I mean, this sport, we talk about it. You were in karting as well in your young days of driving. This is, we cannot really impart this to people enough. We cannot really get across just how physical this sport is. When you come to Formula One, you need to have this preparation in order to do that, because nothing is more physical than being a couple of millimeters off the ground, the intensity through each corner, the rapidity of the acceleration, the velocity of the apexes. This is such a physically demanding sport, probably the most physically demanding form of motorsport there is.
Well, I think if you look, the karting, comparing with Formula One, I think is the closest reaction time you have in terms of G-force, in terms of how quick you do the corner, because it's a very small corner compared to a racetrack, for example, you know, for the cars. And I think it's very close compared to Formula One. So this means that, I mean, the physical is important, the training, but also the mentality. You know, it's quite important to have all the time in the right lines, because if you go off the line, maybe, you know, it can have crashes like that. But I mean, the most important thing is that the driver was out. They are checking him now, all of the doctors there, but looks like he's okay.
Yeah, it's all just following protocol and procedure. And that's the other thing that's worth imparting, is that even if there is an incident like that and the driver appears to be okay, incredible work by the doctors here. You've got to remember that these are young men and women out there on the circuit, and it is so physical. It's worth checking them over before they get back into the kart again. And the team here, as it is wherever we go, you know, a phenomenal team of medical professionals here. They are such sticklers for the protocol and the procedure, and many a life in this sport has been saved by quick reactions and quick thinking from medical teams at the side of the road.
Well, I think it's maybe the track is ready. Maybe they should do the green right now, if I'm not wrong. And let's see the second restart after the yellow flag.
So Gabriel Gomez coming through. I think they're going to do just one more lap of precautionary. So, yep, they will do one more time around. But again, talk about the timing. That move that Kamara pulled on Kucharchik to get into second position, I mean, that could be potentially a race-winning move, because now that he's there on the back of Gabriel Gomez, all he has to do is get a slightly better restart and he can have a crack at his position. They're only going to have 3 laps to go at the end of this lap. Yeah. So it's critical to get yourself into those sort of positions.
Yeah, it's critical. If you don't do a good restart, maybe you can lose position, but maybe if you do a right one, like Rafael just did in the last restart, he was able to pass to second. So let's see how it's going to be now. But it's also a great fight. Maybe in the last 3 laps will be a nice fight for these 2 Brazilians in the front. But we cannot forget all of the others behind that is really hungry, to get that position for score as less points possible, to be in the best positions possible on the final.
So Gomez in pole position. Amazing to think that all this guy had done before this weekend is one World Championship last year at Portimao when he failed to make the final. And other than that, it's been SCUSA in North America, it's been the South American and the Sao Paulo Championships, which he has won 8 times, by the way. And he is a winner of the Trophy Ayrton Senna, one of the most prestigious karting events in the Americas. And here he is leading in FIA karting in his first race of the new season. Here he goes. We are under green flag conditions now. We're racing up to the first corner, and already Kamara is hustling for the position. Tarpanen trying to come through as well, but Tarpanen remains in 3rd position for the moment. Kamara is there. Gomez is in ultra defensive mood. He does not want to give Kamara an inch of space, and as they go up the hill, this is definitely going to be a very tight battle for the remaining 3 laps as they come down the hill again, and Gomez has lost ground to Kamara. Kamara getting through, and then Kamara in 2nd, Tarpanen 3rd, and Stenzorn in 4th position. So Kamara has taken the lead at a critical point in the weekend. He really wanted to step up the attack, and Gomez, the pole sitter, is now in B2, but can he fight back, especially with the likes of Tarpanen and Stenzorn closing down? They come up the hill. It's a perfectly clean first lap so far, but down the hill, Tarpanen will be reading the situation carefully in 3rd place as he runs in behind Gabriel Gomez. Gomez still holding 3rd. Here comes Tarpanen on the inside. Stenzorn's going to have the position as well. So Gomez will slip to 4th for the moment, but Rafael Kamara in 1st position, looking very strong. Tarpanen and Stenzorn together. That's Ella Stevens. So Ella Stevens has come off in the hairpin at the bottom of the hill. Unfortunate there for Ella. So she will have to get herself back together again in the next heat. She's already had 1 spin today. A second definitely wasn't in the script. So Tarpanen and Stenzorn now in front of Gabriel Gomez. And as they drop down the hill once again, this is all going to be about the Norwegian trying to take on Tuukka Tarpanen, the Finn. Very tricky situation now as Kamara has a decent lead, and on the penultimate lap, it's looking pretty good for him.
Well, and as it was a great move. I mean, he just got the opportunity to go through. He went through, he passed to 1st. And then I think maybe even Gomez was trying, to follow Rafael Kamara, and he got another overtook, from the 2nd and the 3rd. So at the end is a nice fight anyway. That's is the fight that is happening most of the races. And let's see in the last maybe couple of laps, maybe last lap. Last lap now to see if anything will change. But now Gomez is trying everything he can maybe to get back the positions.
So Stenzorn is going to have to hold on here in the final lap. Gomez will be fired up to get back into the top 3. A big launch on the inside line. Stenzorn gives him enough space. Gomez will have to back out of the run, and the Norwegian has to move to cover to protect. Gomez with a good run up the hill, and as they drop down, this is where things can get very interesting offline. So they come through the sweeping right-hander, down the drop. So far, so good for Stenzorn, but Gomez is going to give it plenty of speed down the back straight. Can he throw it up the inside? Yes, he's going for it on the inside, and Gomez has a beautiful overtake there to get into 3rd position past Stenzorn, and Kucharczyk is working very hard indeed. We've had another off at that same corner on the final lap. That looks to me like one of the Forzas that's come off the road. We'll come back to that in a moment, because up the inside, Gomez is in there with Stenzorn, gets the position back into 3rd place, as now Kucharczyk loses ground to Stenzorn, but here's the checkered flag. Kamara gets it. Brilliant run. 2nd place for Tarpanen, 3rd for Gabriel Gomez.
Yeah, it was a great move, and it was a great battle in the last lap. So, he managed to get 1 position back, Gomez, but I think it was a great race to watch.
Absolutely terrific stuff, and really great racing all the way through. Kamara really has done his homework for this one. He lost the first race, but he has bounced back in fine style. This is an important win for him psychologically.
This is a very important win, and we cannot forget, Rafael Kamara and Tuukka Tarpanen both was also in the Ferrari FDA, a few weeks ago, This is also a nice race, and it's a nice battle to show, also this, what I can do, what I am able to do. And this is also something that is great on the karting, because many Formula 1 teams is looking also drivers around here. But I think it was a very nice race, very great opportunity for Rafa Camara to get the position, to win the race, and is also important points for his battles until the final.
Fantastic. Great to have you with us up in the box.
Thank you very much.
Don't be too good at it in future, because my job's on the line otherwise. You
No. You are much better, don't worry.
Great to have your company, Felipe. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
So, Rafael Camara taking the win from Tuka Tarpanen and Gabriel Gomez. Martini Estension in fourth position from Timo Kucharczyk, Evan Gilter, Ariel Elkin and Emili Koivisto, Matthias Mogato, Jesse Carrasquedo, Olin Galli and Heralind Nerodini. Matteo De Palo from Nicolo Kuman, Nicolas Piertolati, Noah Milel in 16th in the end from Bruna Del Pino and Anos Shabdor, the Paralin driver. 19th position behind them was Jesse Lacey, the Australian, and then Matthias Pierre from Jose Gomez. Robin Sarg, Carmen Krav, Ivan Dominguez and Andrea Vibiantit. And then the retirements. Kevin Quevedo was the one who came off on the last lap in the same place as his opponent. Ella Stevens crashing out, and Luca Griggs and Joe Turney in almost identical incidents.